Hey everybody, welcome to the newest episode of The Bearded Gamer Show. Now, as always, I'm your host, The Bearded Gamer, Chris Arnone. So, let's talk good news, bad news. Now, first up, we've got some good news. There is a new way to go and buy an Xbox 360. It's this new subscription-based service. So now the idea is you get an Xbox 360 cheaper than the standard retail price. But the deal is you're signing a 2-year contract and you'll pay $14.99 a month for Xbox Live Gold and to have the new console. So the discounted prices are for the 4 gig with Connect, $99. Also, you can get a 250 gig without Connect for the same price, $99, or the 250 gigabyte model with Connect for $149. Like I said, though, you're locked into a 2-year contract paying $15 a month roughly to get your Xbox Live Gold. So it is, in the end, more than you would pay if you were to just buy the console and 2 Xbox Live Gold cards for a year apiece. But, you know, I say it's good news because, you know, they're not forcing this down your throat. They're not changing how you have to buy. They're just giving people another option if maybe a monthly installment plan is a little easier to swallow. Some bad news, all right? So this morning, well, sort of midday for us here in Central Time, Apple announced its iPad mini. That is not the news. That is not the news in any way that I mean to talk about. Because at that very same time, Zynga was laying off over 100 employees. Now, laying off a lot of employees, that sucks. That's really hard. But it speaks even more about how bad this is that they felt the need to do it during Apple's press conference. In other words, all technology eyes were looking over here and they laid off people over here. That's just really bad mojo. Things are really not going well for Zynga. Now, in the rumor mill right now, and this might be actually confirmed or denied by the time you see this video, is that in fact, at least 1, maybe 2 of their offices closed down completely in this round of layoffs. But that, like I said, that's unconfirmed at this moment. I'll let you know in the show notes or in some annotations if that gets confirmed or denied either way. Some good news. Xbox Live Smartglass, you know, I talked about this a lot after E3, is launching October 26th. The bad news. It's only launching for Windows 8 tablets. 3 days later, it launches for Windows 8 phones. I have an iPhone. For Android and iOS, sometime in 2013. I can't say I'm surprised, but it still sucks. Some more bad news. I know, I'm sorry, it's just a lot of bad news today. So if you were planning on playing some EA games on your Wii U, well, some little terms of service ideas came out recently that basically says you have to have an Origin account in order to play your EA games on the Wii U. But what's more, the Wii U will actually communicate your Nintendo account information to EA for your Origin account. Fuck you. No. That's my information. You better check with me first before you give my information away. Now, granted, I already have an Origin account, and I like the idea of tying devices and services together. It's very handy, but you shouldn't be forcing it down people's throats. Now, I know right now they're saying it's to play online, but knowing EA, everything's online. You're not going to be able to play dick unless you actually have an Origin account already. Fuck EA. Bad news. Okay. Sorry, there's just so much bad news. Joe Madureira, the creative director behind Vigil Studios, the mind behind Darksiders and Darksiders 2, has left Vigil Games. Good news is he's going back to comics, baby. Yeah. So the gamer in me is sad. The comic book nerd in me, very excited. All right, let's get into a controller confessional. So recently it appears that some hackers have cracked the PS3 wide open. Now, we've heard these terms used before. Cracked wide open. Oh, it's compromised. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Yes, a lot of these sort of bad things happen. You know, GeoHot did his work. Overflow did their work. Did their work, cracking it open, using USB dongles, using all kinds of different things. And there's been some piracy on the PS3 as a result of this, but all the while, every time Sony rolls out a firmware update, it sort of seals up the holes and it gives the hackers some headaches and bellyaches, and they have to figure out how to hack around it again. And, you know, it takes some time. Overall, Sony built a pretty damn secure console. Now, everything eventually is hackable. But it did take them quite a while. I think the thing was out for, 2 or 3 years before GeoHot was finally able to crack it. So that's pretty darn secure in today's day and age. Now, this is a little different. See, what this is, apparently it's called the LV0 decryption code. Now, basically the idea is, if you were to go get a 2006 original PS3, mint in box, open the thing up, hook it up to the internet, it would be able to download and decrypt the most recent firmware. So in other words, the PS3, every PS3, has a decryption code for decrypting Sony firmware. And people figured this out. Now, apparently the story goes, there's a trio of American hackers that found this apparently a while ago and just sat on it. They didn't do anything. They didn't tell anyone, which to me sounds a little fishy for hackers. And then a Chinese group of hackers found it and decided they were going to make custom firmware and sell it. Now, to make sure that these people couldn't just cash in on their piracy, the American trio went ahead and released it out to the public, put it out open source, killed the entire idea of possibly making money off of this exploit. But the problem here lies with the LV0 decryption codes out there. Whatever firmware Sony puts out, it's hacked every time. Unless they were to dramatically change the way the PlayStation decrypts those things, it's just always going to be able to open back up. Now, they can change the passphrases that are apparently involved, but it doesn't change how the decryption functions on a basic level. Now, this is my understanding from what I've read. I'm not a hacker in any way. Obviously, okay? It pissed me off when GeoHot was doing all this stuff. It pissed me off when Fail Overflow was doing all this stuff. And it pisses me off now. And the reason being, I understand the arguments that some hackers give of, well, it's my hardware. I can do with it as I please. I understand that. You can throw it off a building and let it shatter. That's fine, as long as it doesn't hit anybody on the way down. You can open it up and play with it. That's fine. Just, don't try to put your cat on the disk drive while it's spinning. The point is, you can do whatever you want with your own hardware, so long as it doesn't infringe on the rights of other people. And the thing is, with this most recent hack, they can actually take these hacked PS3s and log into the PlayStation Network. So we have PS3s that could theoretically run macros or some crazy scripts that people have written that could potentially harm the PlayStation Network. I mean, my credit card information is out there, my personal information is out there, as well as millions of other PlayStation Network users. It's all just out there. And to me, this poses a big security threat that this capability is there. And that's where the problem lies. Therein lies the problem. And I know a lot of these hackers come out and say, oh no, that's not why I did this. I didn't create it for piracy. Well, sure, the people behind the Manhattan Project didn't bomb anybody, but they certainly made it possible. No, I'm not really trying to draw lines between dropping atomic bombs on people and stealing people's identities. It's not even close to the same thing. But the idea is, okay, let's draw back a little bit. I don't crack safes, but I make devices built for cracking safes. You're complicit to what's happening. That's what hackers are doing. You are allowing assholes to be assholes, which kind of makes you an asshole. That's really how this works. Don't think that you're hacking for some greater purpose. There's no such fucking thing as hacking for a greater purpose. You're breaking the law. Flat out. Piracy breaks the law. If your hacking results in piracy, there it is. Now, even if you yourself are hacking and not committing piracy, when you put it out there, you put it out in the universe, you allow other people to do these sorts of things, to pirate games, to, potentially infringe on other people's personal information and steal identities. You're an asshole. Flat out. That's how it is. And it pisses me off every time it happens, and I know this won't stop it from happening. But hey, I'm on YouTube. Good luck cracking open Google's code and shutting down YouTube. I would love to meet the hacker who could do that. But anyway, that's my thoughts on this. That's my controller confessional and this video. See you guys next time.